a couple of people here. First of all, Geoff Smart's the moderator of this next panel. And those of you who are at the very first Colorado Innovation Network Summit, Geoff was, remember that for those of you there was a guy in the back of the room with a really big wig and his big hair, and he was a heckler from the back. And the panel was 4 individuals who were private sector business executives who had come to serve in John Hickenlooper's administration in the cabinet. And Geoff was the heckler who said, "What the heck is government doing? Government stinks. You guys can't get anything done, yada, 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 yada." Well, Geoff turns out to be one of the nation's, world's experts on talent and how to attract and retain top talent. And he helped the governor, in particular in the first administration, identify talented people to serve in the cabinet. And with one exception, that being me, he did a really great job of attracting good people. But he did do a phenomenal job, and he continues to serve as the Chief Talent Officer. And the interesting thing about that, I referenced it yesterday, was that I remember him asking for show of hands, how many of you would serve in government? And I think 4 people raised their hand before the panel, and about 50 raised their hands after the panel. And so I thought that was a pretty good indication that panel was effective at communicating why it was they.
Jerry, Sophia, thanks so much. Distinguished guests, our goal is to make this the most useful panel you ever experience for the rest of your lives.
Do you know where they went with Safra to go? No.
And we're going to do that because in the next just few minutes together, we're going to solve your #1 problem. And your #1 problem is hiring and developing talented teams. Hiring and developing talented teams. That's according to the Wall Street Journal. In their book review of that Who book that's in your tote bags, they said, isn't this the most important aspect of leading in business or government or education, and yet remains, Tammy Dorr, one of the least understood. So we're unscripted, we're unplugged somewhat, and this is going to be about interaction. So what is so hard about hiring and developing and retaining talent?
It's very successful elsewhere.
Yes. Love it. All right, back here. Woo! we want to make sure you guys have some love up here. Questions for our panel, sir.
All right.
Please.
Is the mic on?
Oh, that's very kind.
Yeah, he's first.
You have a very generous face. Please, sir.
You do have a generous face.
All right, hit it. What do we got?
Life
is short.
I made it weird, but the bottom line.
One of my mentors is Peter Drucker, the great management, father of management. He coined the term management by objectives, right? And I'm, so I talked to him he's passed away now, but he had a deep Austrian baritone voice, and it made him very wise. And I said, like, how'd you come up with that? Like, that's like brilliant. And he's like, getting people to think and to commit to their objectives is not brilliant. It's common sense. And that was like 60 years ago. But I'll tell you, in the corporate world, and actually even in the government world, they're pretty good at measurable outcomes. In the startup world, friends of mine and folks we've angel invested in, you guys are sometimes moving a little fast to sit for a second with folks and actually hammer out numerical, measurable outcomes. And if you skip that step, it's just really hard, I think, to manage people remotely. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Great panel, by the way. And
thanks.
Nice
You're a great audience member.
Nice impersonation.
Well, Gary's a co-trotter.